Just arrived, Rolling Magic in time.
Chris Beaumont is back Saturday on RSN Racing and Sport. On RSN Racing and Sport, it's time for the Grey Areas with Jason Adams and George Ferrugia.
That kid was a human dynamo.
Are you sure you're talking about George?
George of the jungle, friend to you and me.
Welcome to Grey Areas, your dose of greyhound racing here on RSN twice a week, Wednesdays and Fridays. Plenty happening locally, highlighted by the final of the McKenna Memorial tomorrow night at Sandown Park. And, of course, up north in the Sunshine State, we've got the Brisbane Cup to look forward to on Saturday night. We'll touch more about that on Friday's edition of Grey Areas. But my name's Jason Adams, and as always, joined by a man who holds and blends his love for greyhound racing and Aljana in a very good way. George Ferrugia, good afternoon to you.
I never quite know where you're going with your opening statements, Jason, but good afternoon to you too, mate. On a dreary Melbourne day, we're right in the thick of winter, mate, but bright sunny skies very soon, mate.
Well, I hope so, because John Henry, our respected voice here on Grey Areas, has had some dramas on his way to the studio today. So
Oh, yeah, just a bit of... Well, no one's to blame. These things happen. But, yeah, the trains were a bit... Scheisenhausen on platforms 4 and 5 out of Flinders Street. They had signalling problems today. So the Craigieburn
with a feather.
Craigieburn, Upfield, Water Gardens lines were all affected about 2 hours ago for 40 minutes or so, 45 minutes.
Goodness gracious me.
But that's no big deal.
No, you got here on time.
Yeah.
On time and on budget.
I'm just stressed in underneath the water, the boys outside reckon. They reckon I take stress poorly here.
Really?
Hoss and
I wouldn't pick that about you, mate.
No, they don't know what they're talking about.
I've seen some...
I told you to get on with it, George.
Some past RSN people who take stress a lot worse than what you did, mate.
And there's been some feedback, George, about your rant at Aljana last Friday. So I guess the consensus has been, why didn't you just politely go up to this bloke and say, hey, mate, you're a bit too loud. I'm trying to go through my routine of my tabbouleh and chicken.
Well, yeah, you could do that, but then you escalate a situation with somebody who...
Put yourself at risk.
You wouldn't do it these days.
Looked like a ham sandwich, to be honest. So, yeah. So I moved on.
Hey, I've got a good question for the listeners today to get involved on the text line 0416 90 50 52. Now, we want to hear about your superstitions, mainly when having a bet on greyhound racing, but any superstitions you've got when having a bet. Get involved. That number again, 0416 90 50 52. What is it that you stick to before having a play?
Lucky undies are one.
You've got some lucky undies.
I think you sort of...
I think we should pull this up now.
I think if you've got some... Well, footy players more do that.
Luck with having a bet is what you're talking about.
Yeah, or you might have there might have been a dog in the past that might have won a group race, or Hawthorn might have won a big final, and you say, yep, I had my lucky undies on, I'm going to roll with them again. I think I was telling you off air that I had an uncle who... If he's seen in a race, in a dog race or a horse race, with the last two races 2 and 5, he would think it would be followed by a 1. So always would back that. Johnny had one off air, which was one that I heard of.
My mates used to think that seeing a dog empty its bowels
that's one
was a reflection of their upcoming performance, which I'm not sure it is, George.
No, not at all.
They're a bit lighter.
Or the one that, or the dog that's raring to go, behind the boxes or getting to the boxes on 2 feet.
I won't mention this person's name because they're pretty well known in racing, and his best bet, his favourite bet, is in any maiden to take the 4 roughest runners. The 4 roughest runners. It's a $20 bet, and he just has 5 to nose on the 4 roughest runners in any maiden.
Okay.
And the number of times that he jags something at 30, 100, 80, 72, 55, the number of times he jags a $5 the nose bet on, a $500, $600, $700 result is unbelievable.
Really? Another couple other come to mind. We've got to get yours too, Jace. In small fields, don't back the favourite. Heard that a million times. There's a superstition in thoroughbred racing.
The roughie in the small field.
The roughie in the 4-horse field. They love that. Obviously, a good mate of mine who you know and you've had a beer with, Peaky, race 8, number 8, all the time. Yep. Doesn't matter if
any
it's
meeting,
in Japan,
any code.
Russia, wherever we're going, that's the go. Oh, here we go. We've got a see this evening.
Straight to the undies.
Afternoon, lads. On
Red
holiday.
undies.
On holiday in Tassie and still listening. I always wear the same undies, socks, and have a lucky bowler's cap when I take my dogs out. Matty V from Queensland, who's in sunny Tassie.
Geez, it'd be warm down there.
It will.
John, you like boxes 1 and 8. That's your theory, isn't it?
No. I don't mind if for a first 4 combination. I don't mind the 1, 2, 7, 8, the 2 inside and the 2 outside box combination. Only because as a broadcaster, I have seen it come up so regularly. So I don't mind that, and I'm also a little bit of a fan of I don't know, and don't ask me why. I know you will. I'm also a bit of a fan of 1, 2, 3, 7.
1, 2, 3, 7.
Just because I see it come up a lot. Not always in that order, but those 4 numbers.
Another text message through. I always look at the form of box 1 and 8 first, as I believe they will get the clearest run early from a number ending in 671. You, Jace, have you got any superstitions?
Well, not so much anymore. I'm betting far less than what I used to, but I used to have a gut feel on which bookmaker I was betting with as to how my luck was going, the trends.
Yeah.
Depending on my confidence levels, I'd go to different ones.
Like a blackjack dealer. You got luck with
I don't
one
know
and
enough
not
about
the-
blackjack.
Yeah.
Well, lots of punters say the first trainer they see on the day.
Yes, there's a bit of that.
when
That's
they
the
when
other
they
one.
walk through the gate. Yeah,
I have to say a lot of this is all such
superstition.
rubbish, you know.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
I usually go against it, and you know how many times you're going to jinx us? Oh, jinx. There's nothing involved with that. Anyway,
What about predictions in running? They get flagged with
Oh.
jinx every now and then.
mate? Well, you have seen some of the finest jinxes of all time at my house, mate. Calling it home. Once had a friend of mine say the real nature strip has turned up today in the middle of a pub and got beaten a nose. If you're listening. So, yeah, interesting. Good question,
There'd
though,
be
mate.
plenty of good stories of dogs pulling up halfway down the straight too, wouldn't there? Home and hose.
Sick beats.
Sick beats. All right, race 3 at Sales coming up in a couple of minutes' time. Before we get there, we'll get to some news before getting stuck into the McKenna after this race. The Sandgroper, which is Western Australia's greyhound edition of the Phoenix, has been upgraded to Group 1 status. And I think that's a good thing. It sounds more natural for a race of that significance to be labelled a Group 1, but it just prompted me to ask, especially someone like you, George, who's got a lot of experience in the sport, what is the relevance of group status anymore? I mean, this is a race that's carried significant prize money. Everyone knows it's on. Everyone talks about it. What difference does it make if it's a Group 1 or not?
Yeah, I think it's kind of nonsensical if it isn't, considering it's... And I know it's not... I know it's prestige plus prize money as well, but it's just silly that it isn't. In regards to what do they mean anymore, probably not as big a deal as maybe what they once were.
Is that because there's too many of them?
Yeah, there's heaps
They're
of them. Like
diluted?
Group 1s, yeah, there wasn't as many back in the day, and but it just makes sense for it to be a Group 1, absolutely. I mean... So what happens with the National Sprint Championship, Jason? That's the one, and the National Distance. Does that retain Group 1? Because I believe now the prize money levels to be a Group 1 have gone up, whereas that race hasn't. Have we heard? Does that go to a Group 2 now? Like that was one of the big races to win when I first came into the
Well,
sport.
it was the richest race in the country going back 25 years or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, and to represent your state was huge, and now it's still important and holds some importance, obviously, if you're good enough to be crowned national champ. But 75 compared to racing for 350 in a Sandgroper and $1 million in the Phoenix and $1 million chase, it's kind of fallen by the wayside, hasn't it?
20 years ago, did group race status have an impact on sires and breeding progeny?
Oh, absolutely.
Has that fallen by the wayside?
No, I still think it's important to be a Group 1 winner, but there's more of them around, isn't there? And it's seemingly that every dog that wins a Group 1 has this ticket where they have to go to stud. So most of them not successfully, but, it happens.
Seems quite routine to go to stud these days, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
All right, at the boxes for race 3 at Sale, open sort of race. Jimmy Vandermart is on course. He's with the black. Go, Flash, go. Let's get to him for race 3 at Sale.
So runners at the boxes, yeah, it's a tricky race, boys. A good talking point too about Group 1s and the Nationals on grey areas at the moment. RSN 927 with George Ferruzia and Jason Adams. This the third race, now the starting signal flashing away. Mary Val Girl, I think, holds the key to the race. She's a reckless wide runner, and I think the best dog in the race is Go Flash Go, but does he get around her early? We'll have to wait and see. They're ready to run for the third race over the 5:10. Set to bounce at Sale. They're ready to go. Often racing now and jumping well, Merivale Girl from the outside, straight up outside of Esther's Jacket, and they're going to go toe-to-toe into the back straight with Bruce, a close third, trying to squeeze between the two leaders, and then Real Sweet from Pretty Treasure. Now a fair way back at the end here, Princess Lass and Go Flash Go at the tail. It is a compressed field. Merivale Girl led Bruce, who's sliding through. Then Esther's Jacket from Real Sweet, Princess Lass trying to wind up at them. It's Bruce hitting the lead, Esther's Jacket coming back. There's a line of them. Esther's Jacket sticks the head out. Go Flash Go flew late, but I think Esther's Jacket won it. Strange old race. Esther's Jacket a nose Go Flash Go, a nose Real Sweet in a tremendous grandstand finish at the end. They raced close the whole way. Fourth between Merivale Girl, Princess Lass and Bruce, who wasn't beaten too far. And we await the photo finish here. It's between the 3 and the 7. It's got really close. Time 29.79. It looked live like the 3, but the 7's got an almighty stride in, and it's going to be a close photo, and we'll await the judge's verdict. It's between Esther's Jacket and number 7, Go Flash Go, who wasn't even in the call leaving the back straight, was right out the tail of the field, has taken inside runs, come charging through at Esther's Jacket, who was so one-paced in front. He's just missed. It's 3 clinging on, but this got really, really close right at the line. Number 3 is the winner, Esther's Jacket. She's been so consistent of late without winning. Well-deserved win. She just kept bobbing along up near the speed. She was outpaced mid-race, but with 600-metre form, she's grounded out and just got the verdict. 3, 7, 8 third. And it's equally as close for the win as it was for fourth. And the 6 gets that Princess Lass. So a huge finish at the end. They were stretched across the track. And the interim numbers 3, 7, 8 and 6.
So that's the favourite, boys. At a pretty good price too. $3.50 those divs in a moment. I've got Matt Hill, though, set to go for the first this afternoon. And we're racing at Sandown. You've got Mark Hunter's selections from this morning when he spoke to Michael Felgate ahead of each of the races. There's a pickup ride race 1. Patrick Maloney is with number 4. Too Much Too Soon. And with Bet365, your favourite in the first is at $2.90 now, $3. Number 1, Celestra, which is Jai McNeil. It's not a big field. It's a field of 6. There's no third div. Then you go to $3.90 for that pickup ride of Patrick's. Number 4, Too Much Too Soon. And $4, Liam Reardon with number 6, Imzada. All right, Imzada. And for the first time this afternoon, we welcome in at Sandown your caller, Matt Hill.
And a very good afternoon to you, John, and hi everyone. Yes, here at Sandown on what's a pretty bleak afternoon, misty rain falling, and looking at the radar, that rain is going to continue through the day. We're starting the day on a soft 5, and we have the rail in the true position, so plenty of room outside there on the lakeside course, and horses in the yard for the opener. P. Maloney on 4 in the first. In the fourth event today, number 3, Dream All Day, is Billy Egan. And then a flick over to race 6. Number 13, Hollandia, is Craig Newitt. Race 7, number 3, Rogue Rocker, is Craig Newitt. 18, Varan, Jake Noonan. And in the last, race 8, number 18, Heavenly Eagle, is Patrick Maloney. My best for the day was race 5, number 4, Fracas, on a really tough day, and particularly with a deteriorating track. And my best value, race 7, number 7, True to Form. Speaking of the form, Mark Hunter was our form expert this morning on Racing Pulse, and in this opening race on the card, Imzada, who's had 2 race starts, arguably in tougher company in Saturday class, is the tote favourite at the moment, along with Celestra, number 1. Celestra, who is having start number 1 today for Anthony and Sam Friedman, and Too Much Too Soon, number 4, as well in commission as well after being placed at Geelong last start. Keeping in mind, a few of these horses having their first race starts in testing conditions. 2-year-old fillies' first race starts, testing conditions at an extended trip of 1,300 metres. Here are the thoughts of Mark Hunter.
I'm going to tip his Lady Bay here. I think it's the best form. That form from Bendigo, that might be just super form. Signature Centre trial terrific. Went to the front and bolted in. We've seen Idle on By come out and win during the week at Pakenham. I think it's the best form in the race quite easily, and I think it ran well. It was allowed to get a long, long way back in the run, got to the outside, made good ground through the line. 1,300 metres it jumps to. It probably has to settle last the way the race shapes up. It probably settles last, but only a field of 6. I'm hoping that his Lady Bay can run them down here to beat number 1, Celestra. Trials have been all right. As I say, it's been slow out, but it should be able to hold up leaders back and get every chance. 6 Zada is a horse who's trialled well, yet to deliver on race day, and 4 Too Much Too Soon, who had a good little rails trail, just beaten last time, leads or leaders back at worst and has got a chance. But I think number 5 is the best form. 5, 1, 6 and 4.
5, 1, 6 and 4 in the first. Back to the grey areas and 2 ticks at sale race 3. Gents, it was number 3, Esther's Jacket, $3.50 and $1.70. Good price for a favourite. Number 7, Go Flash Go, $3. No third div, number 8, Real Sweet, and 6, Princess Lass. The Quinella paid $5.90, Exacta $15.60, Trifecta $178, and the first 4, $363, 3786. Running double 2 and 3, $7.10. And in the next at sale, race 4, James Vandermart went the Black Dog again, Jason, 7, 8, 2 and 4.
Thank you, John. A flurry of text messages have come in sync with our theme of the day being superstitions you have before having a bet. Make sure you let us know. 0416 90 50 52. Mark in Williamstown, always watch a race from the same spot or same TV monitor if having a good day at the track, especially if getting up in photos. From Tom, don't wear green on a racetrack. Haven't heard of that one.
Mm-hmm, I've heard that.
Why?
Yeah,
Blend in with the grass.
Don't know. It's just it's an Irish thing, isn't it? You've just bad luck, I think, something like that. Don't wear green on a racetrack. I think
stick to the same wall machine if you're having a win. I've seen blokes do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
They'll stay on the same.
Even if they have to wait 5 minutes, John, to get to
mate, there's an empty one over there or a vacant. No, but I'm winning on this one.
Yep, that's right.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Our good mate Kenny in Cranbourne. Morning, fellas, or afternoon, fellas. I like my Richmond stubby holder with the 13 premierships and club song. If I do no good on the punt, I've got a cold beer. Good way to live life, Kenny. Love your work. Aside from superstitions, we've got a text here from Ash, who is texting in from New Zealand, flagging the government banned offshore bookies on Monday to increase tax revenue. Only option is cramped odds on the Monopoly tab. Hard work. Money talks all languages, as they say. Aside from that, afternoon, guys, is trial form available for punters? That's from Dominic. Now, I'll come to you, George, on this. I mean, it's something that's been discussed for probably a period of time. For those who don't have a full understanding and grasp of the sport, is trial form available? And the only way that I can compare it is that trials in greyhound racing are generally considered what track work would be in horse racing. Is that a fair comparison?
Yeah, that's right. And essentially they're private unless you know the dog going around and you know the trainer.
Well, they're not private. They're just...
Well, private in a sense that you don't know which dog's going around, to be honest. There used to be in New South Wales where you'd have to do a performance trial in front of the stewards as your actual name before you had a race start. But, what ended up happening was, the dogs probably were, 60, 70, 80% fit. I don't know. They weren't at their best anyway. So you still had betting fluctuations on the back of that. So they scrapped them. So to answer Dominic's question, the trial form's only available if it's done, in between races, in front of the stewards, and where people like you, Jace, are able to give people that information, or else it's... and that's why some fluctuations happen with greyhounds, obviously. But one of the texts, apart from saying green on the racetrack, don't take too much notice of what at times dogs trial on their own.
Especially in hand slips.
That's not always correct, but that can be the case. There are dogs that are good in trials and not good when they're bunched against other greyhounds.
I often like to think of it's an indication of current fitness, as opposed to expectation of a racing performance.
Yeah, can be a bit of that.
All things considered. Another text has come in. When taking a trifecta or a first 4, I always have to include a reserve runner, if there is one. That's from Sam.
Yeah.
Different way to tackle it. Like that?
People do dirty up when a reserve hits the top 4 and they haven't taken it.
Especially if you've done the form, the reserve's gone in. You think, I didn't know much about this thing. How dare it?
Yeah, I know. It runs second up on the fence, Anyway.
All right, keep those text messages rolling in. 0416 90 50 52. Time to move on to what is a great contest at Sandown Park tomorrow night with the running of the McKenna Memorial. We saw heats ran last Thursday night, 5 of them. And the way the market looks for this one, George, Bebop Jazz and Without a Trace, the 2 greyhounds from the Prosciutto camp line up as the most likely winners according to the market.
Yeah, look, and you will never knock back boxes 1 and 2, but as greyhound trainers can sometimes tell you, if you have dogs that are drawn next to each other, they tend to find each other in a race and are able to cause able to cause some interference. But again, like I said, you wouldn't swap these boxes. They have essentially different racing patterns, these two greyhounds as well. Bebop Jazz should lead off box 1, and if Without a Trace can get the sit behind it, I think will be hard to beat. Is that how you're reading this race?
Yeah, it is. I think Without a Trace is the fastest greyhound in the race, the strongest in the race. I think her run home time was, I think it was 10:68. So doing that over 600 metres is pretty strong. You do mention box 1 and 2 and how important that is on a bend start, particularly at Sandown Park. 36% of races over this distance are won by runners from box 1 and 2. Does that surprise you at all?
No, it doesn't, because if you begin well enough, then you're at a real advantage because you're able to stick to the fence while the fanning happens on that first corner. I suppose greyhound, the other greyhound that we can mention, I mean, there's some very good greyhounds in the race. Poor Yasmin is not out of place class-wise in this race, but she's come up with box 8, which is problematic for her. And I think Vista Weird, is he too young to win this race? When I say that, maybe not as experienced enough. He's only had the 13 starts, but his last 2 wins, Jace, I mean, he's heading towards a Hume Cup, this greyhound. He's a pretty talented dog. And again, I'd have to say in a couple of months' time, maybe I'm not saying he's Without a Trace, but he's going to be a very, very good middle-distance dog.
All right, we're going to get on with it because we've got stuff all time remaining for grey areas. So Sandown tomorrow night, headlined by the McKenna. I'll be tipping Without a Trace. George?
Yeah, me too. I think it gets the sit and be hard to beat.
In the shorter term, at the Meadows tonight, there's a couple of debutants that have been backed. The first of them, race 1, Mapunga Brocky. The second of them, race 2, Mapunga Lily, who you've got some insight, do go pretty well. At least the lid has shown some signs.
Yeah, they have. There was a first starter called Mapunga Sage at the Meadows on
Sandown
Monday, called Mapunga Sage, who went 29.43 and looked pretty impressive, Jace. Mapunga Brocky is its brother, so it'll be interesting to see it go around. But I think all eyes are on Mapunga Flyer tonight in race 6 at the Meadows. Of course, this is a greyhound who nearly broke Matt Locke's track record at Warrnambool and will be set for the Silver Chief. And your boy, Tribeca, off a semi-tricky draw.
Back to the big smoke.
Yeah, but $1.50.
Terrible draw.
Yeah, off box 8. Be interesting to see how those two greyhounds, they could be titans in the next couple of weeks. There's a couple of really nice rival races at Sandown too on Thursday, isn't there?
There's some rippers. We're going to see Bagman take on Field Day in race 6, Kenya All Class and Ethanol Volume in race 7, and I think race 10, there's a few handy ones in there. We've got Bella Victorian
and Slick Splits, who you like.
Splits, I do like him.
Went 29.45 on a pretty wet track, Slick Splits, but Valedictorian has done nothing wrong, especially defeating Traumatise, who Jason Thompson gave a big rap to. So really nice meeting there at Sandown Park tomorrow night.
Tips, what have you got for us?
Okay, I do like race 2, number 4, Dapper Chap. I'm not sure what odds we're going to get, Jason, but again, he ran 29.49 on a rain-affected track, and I thought he looked really good. He went 5.06 early, got a big future, no doubt about it. I also think Paula Bella's greyhound in race 4, Aston Guitar, will be hard to beat. Really come back into form in its last 4 starts, winning 3 of them, all in pretty good time. Should hold a forward position, be hard to beat.
All right, let's bust through the Ferrugia files here. Now, you've had some recent winners. Billy Bust Up, Summer Queen, Mackinaw Peach. It's now time to maintain the momentum. Sale today, race 6, number 1, Ringwald.
Yeah, chance to lead all the way.
Race 8, number 1, Honey Bunny.
I don't know what she'll do.
Bendigo, race 4, number 6, Articulate.
Place.
The Meadows tonight, race 4, number 6, King of Snake.
Yeah, a chance at odds. I think $11, so go each way.
Race 9, number 1, Pax Bastonia.
That wants it out wide.
Race 10, number 5, Groupbird.
At her best, should win.
Rockhampton, race 10, number 1, Coronation Day.
Place.
Sandown tomorrow night, race 1, number 4, Billy Buster.
No, tough race.
Race 5, number 7, Vital Step.
No.
Fantastic. That's a wrap for grey areas. George, thank you. John, thank you.
Mate.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay dry, everyone out there. We'll be back on Friday to wrap up what will be a big night at Sandown tomorrow night. In the meantime, race 1 at Sandown. Let's get on track with the great Matt Hill.
as our radio audience join us. Boys, thank you very much. Just updating all of our media services. The track now at Sandown, a soft 6 Sandown, and race 6, number 19, Wheelstone, a late scratching. Here's Lady Bay, the final one, goes in, completes the line, 1,300 metres, and they're set to go. First of 8 on a Wednesday. Ready to run. Gates are back and away. Imzada away fairly. And going back to the end, here's Lady Bay. Celestra the best to jump from Too Much Too Soon. So the two favourites are 1 and 2 after 150 metres. Imzada's showing some lick to get to third. They were followed by Savannah Chill, about 2.5 lengths away on the inside, Licentious. And last of all, his Lady Bay. Heading towards the opening bend at the 850. Strolling out